Scooped Up by an S-rank adventure is another one of those kick out of the hero's party and the main character ends up being super OP and being the reason why the hero's party rise to the level that they got to. But this anime actually does a couple of things different. Not enough to necessarily stand out, but enough for me to notice and at least wanting to talk about. And the first thing that I want to say is that when our main character got kicked out of the hero's party, Semo Semo, he got scooped up by Dewey, that is the leader of the an S-rank adventurers party, and wanted him to join as a white mage. Now, one thing that I immediately noticed is that this party is quite well balanced with the boys and girl ratio, because usually and the grand majority of the time our main character pretty much joins a new party and they are all girls and pretty much he got himself a harem. But no, a good ratio between boys and girls in this party, and there's no it's quite there was no romance, there was no undertone messaging that maybe something might happen in the future. No, it was quite very well platonic friendship, adventures, going out and doing certain missions together. So that's one thing that I noticed, that it was a little bit different compared to other anime of this type of genre. The other thing that I noticed is that even though their main character Lloyd, yes, he is OP, but he is only OP as a supporter. He usually does buff and debuff between allies and enemies, and he usually leaves the fighting towards the rest of the party. Now, a quick note that I want to say is in the action of this anime is barely passable, at least visually, because I noticed that there was a couple of different points in the anime when they do a fight scene that I don't know, some of the fighting, the swordsmanship kind of lacks impact. It doesn't feel like the character is actually cutting the enemy or anything. It feels like a blade towards butter. It just doesn't have impact, those swings or punches. It's just lacking something when it comes to not necessarily visual. Maybe it's the sound effects. They need to put a little bit of so you can feel like the characters are actually doing something. And that's one something I wanted to touch upon quickly of the fighting. Another thing that I also want to say is that even though that Lloyd they joined the party and I guess overpower, actually is not the leader, because usually in other animes of this genre of the kick out of the heroes party, once the overpowered main character joins a party, he automatically becomes the new leader, even though that there's been a leader for quite a while before. But no, actually, the Dewey, the girl with the pink hair, who was the leader of this Avengers party, is still considered the leader, even though the Lloyd is, like I said, overpowered, and he actually in many episodes he does take charge and does do commands here and there throughout some battles. But the Avengers still consider Yui the leader, because maybe of her, not necessarily because she is the most capable or strong of the party, but she has the heart to do what's right, and she really cares about the people and their safety. So maybe, and she also knows how to light up the mood in stressful situations. So I like that Lloyd wasn't automatically given the position of leader, and Jewish is still considered the leader of the party. And one final thing that I can touch upon is that our main character Lloyd, he is the typical, we have seen it before over and over, that he is OP, but he doesn't know that he's OP. He always thinking to himself, oh, compared to these other people, I am weak compared to them. I'm always lacking power. I have to continue to growing and become stronger. And usually in other animes, it's just simply because of seclusion and the environment where they were training in a secluded environment, so it just naturally happened where the main character is just oblivious of how strong he is. But actually in this anime, Lloyd becoming oblivious of his own strength, it wasn't by coincidence. It actually was by design, by his master, because Lloyd master, who trained him since little, she actually trained him in a certain way, so he will always think that he is weaker compared to other people, and to never grow overconfident about himself. So actually I actually like that he being oblivious of his own strength, was actually there was an actual reason behind it, because usually just by coincidence, and sometimes is okay, sometimes is annoying, but in this one I think it was actually quite smartly done. And I think that I'm going to actually give this anime a score of 6, a 6 out of 10. Being kicked out of the heroes party is a formula that has been, just like isekai, has been growing throughout the years, and it's a formula that has been being done to death. But just like, let's say, reincarnated as a slime and overlord, in the future we might see a kick out of the heroes party that evolves the formula into such a level that it can become mainstream and be enjoyed by a good amount of people of the anime community. So I'm going to end it here. So have a good day, have a good night, wherever you're from. See you next video.